Hello, guys. Welcome back to More Boxing No Problem. We're here with another video. This is my co-host Jose and our very special guest today, Victor Morales. How are you doing today?
Good, good. How are you guys?
We're just pulling
Doing
it through
well.
just another day, man.
Good.
First question would be, how do you get into the sport of boxing?
I got into the sport about 20 years ago. I was probably in the gym before that, but I followed my dad into the gym. He kind of got into a fight at at an event that we were at, and he was kind of a hothead back then. So he got into the gym, and we followed right behind him, and we've just been in the gym since then.
Yeah, man. We all come from somewhere, family parties or any other type of event. Something happens. I'm not gonna do nothing, but at the end of the day, situations are, let me take action. But
Mhm.
some
Yeah,
people are
for sure.
calm, some people aren't.
Yeah.
And then speaking of not being calm, your nickname, or tornado is definitely not calm. Can you tell
Right?
us
Not at all.
can you tell us the backstory how you got that nickname?
Over the years when I was an amateur, there was just a nickname that coaches would just call me and ask. They wouldn't call me it, but they would ask my dad, like, "Oh, where's the little tornado at?" And it kind of just stuck, so we just kept it.
Nice.
So that's a pretty cool name, Tornado. Damn, that's pretty crazy. It sounds it's dope. It's dope. Could you tell us about your amateur career? What were some of major accomplishments? I'm sorry.
So as an amateur, I had 130 fights. I was 118-12. I was multiple national champion, multiple time national champion, international champion, USA Boxing Outstanding Boxer. Um, just a lot of things. I fought pretty much everybody. I fought Shakur, Devin, Virgil Ortiz a bunch of times. I fought everybody.
Yeah,
Oh,
impressive
good to
resume.
know. You know?
And now, Victor, we want to touch on your pro career. Starting with the debut, back in August 2016 in Anaheim, California. Could you tell us about that night and if you were nervous at all heading into your pro debut?
Yeah. So the whole kind of pro fight thing, the weigh in, the interviews, everything. It was all new to me. So I was nervous. I remember like stepping on the scale and like my toes are kind of shaking and stuff because
Hmm.
it was just something new. And then getting to the locker room, hands wrap, everything. It's a different vibe. It's a different environment. And so I was nervous going into my first fight. Doing the whole ring walk and everything. But the second that I got in the ring, it kind of just everything just clicked. Like 15 years with an amateur career just clicked. It was the exact same thing minus a headgear and a jersey.
Right.
And I went out
Cool,
there
cool.
and did my thing.
That's right,
100%.
boss. That's right. You signed with Golden Boy in 2019. What were your reasons for signing with them over other promoters?
So we talked to a few promoters and stuff, and when we were kind of looking for the best deal for us, for me to elevate my career, and it wasn't even necessarily money. Money wasn't gonna attract me to a contract or certain things. There were certain things that we were looking for. And when I turned pro, I didn't turn pro like a lot of people with an immediate contract, an immediate signing to a major promotional company. So I just worked my ass off pretty much. And my dad just said, he's like, look, the time's gonna come. He said, we're not gonna rush into a stupid contract and get suckered or and get screwed into a contract. He said, your time's gonna come, the right offer's gonna come, and when that time comes, we'll take it. And so we talked with Top Rank, we talked with a bunch of different people, PBC, and we just kind of waited it out. And Golden Boy came around, and they had the right offer, and it was just icing on the cake. The Oscar and Golden Boy. I always wanted to sign with Golden Boy as long as it made sense.
Hmm.
Oscar De La Hoya was my favorite fighter growing up, so it happened to just work out. Everything kind of just the stars aligned, and it worked out.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good to know.
Good to hear. And then, Victor, I want to touch on your couple fights you had in Mexico. How was it fighting in Mexico, and what do you say is the biggest difference between fighting in Mexico versus the U.S.?
Uh, fight wise, there's not much different. My last fight in Mexico, I don't know what the judges were watching. Honestly, I really don't. Same with a lot of people because if you go to my box rec, it's gonna say, I can't even remember what it says, but it's not what it was. It was not that. So otherwise, the environment's cool. The last fight was in a stadium, so it was cool. There's not much different. Just obviously, it's a little bit smaller crowds and stuff.
Cool, cool. Only blemish on your pro record is a draw versus Rudy Garcia. What can you tell us about that fight, and what could you have done differently to have gotten the decision?
So going into that fight, I was actually injured in that fight. I went
Oh.
into that fight injured. I had a back injury and something that I've been fighting for years. And I went into that fight um, hurt. And we had time that there was time that I could have pulled out of the fight, but I told my dad, no, I'm not going to pull out of the fight. It was a title fight. It was my first title fight, so I didn't want to pass it up. And so it took me like really with my back, it took me about 6 rounds to really warm up. And even then, I still think that I took it by at least a round, but we came out with a draw, and it is what it is. We learned, we're going forward with it, and you live and you learn. There's some things
Yeah.
I probably should have took a step out of that one to let myself recover, but we went ahead and we learned from it.
Yeah, so you live and you learn, man.
And then Victor, I want to ask you about your last fight versus Diego De La Hoya. That's an opponent that you specifically asked for, and heading into that fight, you're actually a slight underdog. Obviously now we know the result, second round KO. But looking back at it, what specifically made you want to call him out? Did you see something in him that you knew you could exploit?
It wasn't even necessarily that. Honestly, I just got tired of Golden Boy and these guys kind of giving me the same style opponent, the same style record, and I honestly wanted a name and something that was gonna elevate me. Right? I was done fighting
Mm-hmm.
these guys for them to see what I was gonna do and this and that. I was done with that. I said no. I want Diego,
Mm-hmm.
and so we started calling him out. They said no. So we called him out on social media, and sure enough, I got the call saying, "Hey, you got the fight." So we went out there and did what we knew we could do.
That's right, bro. That's right. That fight was also for the WBA Intercontinental Featherweight title. What did it mean to you to win that championship?
It meant the world. You could see it just in the smile in the picture that you guys used for the story
Yep.
for this on Instagram.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
could just see the smile in it that um, it didn't hit me till the belt went around me, and then that's when like the smile came out, and it was cool. It was cool, but I'm definitely not satisfied yet.
Understandable.
Not at all. It's the first of many championship belts.
Exactly. So that pretty much put me in the top 10 in the WBA, which is something that I wanted. I wanted a ranking so that I could really continue to move forward.
That's good, bro. That's good.
Yeah. And then Victor, when might we see you back in the ring?
August 19th. It looks like they're working on
sweet.
they're working on 2 dates right now, but it looks like about 5 weeks from now.
Oh, okay, cool. Just a couple of days before my birthday.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
Man. Any particular names you want to fight next?
Like I said, anybody in the top 10, top 15. There's a bunch of people. Ruben Villa, um, Joet Gonzalez, all those guys. I mean, those are the guys that I want to keep fighting. Those are guys that we know from the amateurs. Ruben's actually one of the guys I never even fought in the amateurs, but we want guys. We want good guys.
That's good, man. You have that
And,
energy.
absolutely, that's how you get better. And I want to pick your brain and get your thoughts on the other featherweight champions in your division. We got Robeisy Ramirez, Bernardo Lopez, Ray Vargas, and Lee Wood. Of those, who do you think would be kind of the toughest to beat?
Probably Ray Vargas, just because his height. I think he's like 5'10" or something. Like he's tall. He's a tall guy.
Yeah, he is.
Style wise, that's probably the hardest fight, the most difficult fight, just because of his size. And but if I was to pick one of those champions, honestly, I've been wanting to fight Robeisy.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I know that he's awkward, but I always like to challenge myself, and I see certain things in certain fighters that I think would bring out certain things in me, and that's one of the fights that I would want in the future.
Gotcha.
Great matchup.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for fights? Do you watch tapes on your opponents and study their style, or do you focus more on making improvements to your style on your last fight?
A little bit of both, but mostly improving myself. We do game plan certain things to each opponent, but specifically we typically just sharpen me up because if I'm sharp, I pretty much figure it out. Even if we technically don't have a game plan, right? If I'm sharp, I can figure it out very quickly.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. And then Victor, who has been the hardest puncher you've been in the ring with, either in sparring or one of your pro fights?
Hardest puncher. Um, I mean, I've been in the ring with Sean Porter and Leo
Oh,
Santa Cruz, so probably one of those guys. Honestly,
They can crack.
yeah, they can crack. So probably one of those two.
that's right.
Nice.
What is growing up? What was your? We all have that favorite fighter, that favorite boxer. You know, growing up. Mine is Canelo currently. But who was your favorite boxer growing up?
My promoter, Oscar De La Hoya.
That's
I
right.
think I mentioned that earlier, but yeah, he was. I was such a fan of him that my aunt or somebody that they knew, my aunt knew, like worked at a bar, and they had like a Corona, I think it was Corona, like a life size cutout of him in the bar, and once they were done with it, they asked for it and they gave it to me, and I had it hanging in my room for like a few months before I had to take it down because my mom kept thinking that a man was standing in my room.
She get getting freaked out.
Yeah, she would look in my room and she would see like a shadow, and it was freaking her out. So I took it down.
That's crazy.
I saw talking about De La Hoya. I saw a poster that I guess a HBO documentary on his career and life's coming out. That looks super interesting. I think the end of this month.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching that.
Yeah, it's going to be dope. And now speaking of present day, who do you consider to be the number one pound for pound fighter today?
I still think it's Canelo. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. Also, I think pound for pound, I think just him moving up and down and being able to capture titles, whether he lost or not, he's moving up and down, and he's challenging himself, and I think that's truly pound for pound.
Yes, sir. Gotcha on that. What do you? I mean, every boxer has their side hobbies, interests. What are your side hobbies or sports or any interest that besides boxing? What do you like to do?
Um, we like to go out to the sand dunes. We're into cars and trucks. We got show trucks and custom trucks and stuff. So we do a lot of showing, low riders and stuff. So we like cars,
Oh, okay.
outdoor stuff. I go snowboarding and stuff in the winter, and
Okay.
I like to stay active.
I
Stuff.
actually been to the snow just once, bro. I ate it, so kinda,
I started 2020 when COVID started because there were certain things that were still open over here, and that was one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
So I just said I tried it out, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna start doing this." So I've been doing it now for like the last 3 years, every season.
yeah, that's cool. But I had that over here in the Big Bear. I had to attach myself to the board, and
Mm-hmm.
literally the first 3 seconds I flipped over. I just got up and I went slowly down with the little thing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna take it easy.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Everyone was already down over there. I'm like, I was screaming, but it's the way was too down. You know what?
Uh-huh.
I'm done. I'm done with this.
Yeah, I need to go down to Big Bear now. I need to go down to Big Bear for snowboarding and stuff. I need to
It,
get around. I've only been to our mountains,
yeah,
but I want to go around like to Colorado. I want to go to Canada because Canada's not too far from me. And I want to go down to California.
it's dope out here, man. You should.
So, and then, Victor, what would be the best piece of advice you would give someone that's thinking about going pro and making a career out of boxing?
Make sure you got a good amateur career so you're not learning on the job. We really stress that a lot here with me being one of the only successful pro boxers in my area. There's some people that see me and they're like, I just want to turn pro, and I'm like, probably not. Like, what have you done in the amateurs? Well, I went to this show and this show, and I'm like, but what did you do though? Like, are you doing good? Like, spend the time in the amateurs and then turn pro, and then just even if you're not going as an amateur yet and you're just going to turn pro, you got to have a really good manager, a really good team behind you that's going to guide you in the right directions.
Gotcha.
Yeah, really good matchmaking.
Yeah, exactly.
This next question is more to kind of open up the floor. Any message to your fans and supporters?
Just August 19th or so, we're getting back in the ring. We're going for our first title defense of my WBA Intercontinental title. So just tune in, and we'll have more details on that soon.
Thank you, bro. Well, that will wrap it up. We appreciate your time so much, me, Jose. It was an honor to have you here, bro. We appreciate you, and Make sure you follow him. It's at his IG is literally down below at official_Victor Morales. Make sure you guys follow him. He's a very good fighter upcoming. He has a lot to learn. He has a lot to learn, a lot to improve, and we're there, man. And thank you so much again for your time. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank you
Victor.
so much, guys.
All right, take it easy.
Yeah, you too.
All right, bye.
See ya.